Hi everyone, I'm Paul Jurmo. I want to talk to you a little bit today about the COABE Archive of Special Collections, which you can find on the COABE website. We'll give you the instructions for how to do that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the origins of this new collection of valuable resources from our adult foundational education field, and its purposes, its contents, and how you can access it. So let me start with the origins. It's a good place to start for any topic, I think. I'd like you to know that this archive was put together by a team of veteran adult educators, researchers, and practitioners who came to the conclusion that there were many valuable resources that have been developed in our field going back into the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and even more recently, that have never been digitized or possibly were at one point digitized and put online, and then their websites closed down, or for any number of reasons. These resources are no longer easily accessed, and in the process, what that means is our field really isn't benefiting from the good work that they represent. But the impact of that is that there are many topics and issues that are constantly being reinvented in our field and rediscovered, or possibly never rediscovered, all of which impacts the quality and the effectiveness of what we're doing in our field today. So basically that was the origin. The group was called the Adult Foundational Education Digital Library Group. We put together sort of a research plan where we were trying to determine the scope of the types of materials that might be useful to the field today, and models of digital libraries that possibly could be adapted to create a new collection. What we did by mid-2023, we issued a concept paper which spelled out a plan for putting together a new digital library for adult foundational education. We circulated that concept paper widely within our field to some funders, but mostly to organizations in our field that might find this of use and might like to participate in this project. We're designing this for a wide range of stakeholders in our adult foundational education field. Of course, the people that are running programs, designing programs, teaching in classes, developing curricula, so the practitioner types who are working at the program level we see as a key audience for this. But adult learner leaders, for example, who want to find out what other adult learner leader organizations and individuals have done in the past, there are resources for them as well. Policymakers and funders who maybe are new to adult foundational education, don't realize that there were many initiatives in our field in years past by the federal and state governments and local governments as well. We have policy-related documents for them as well. So those are among the stakeholders, key stakeholders in our field that this is aimed at. But also other potential partners in our field, like employers, labor unions, healthcare providers, K-12 school agencies, and others, correctional services. These are all they're documents that could be of use to those kind of stakeholders as well. And simply stated, what we are saying is that the purpose of this archive is to help those various stakeholders better perform the roles that they play in the field. If you think about the healthcare field, there's a whole body of healthcare related resources that nurses and doctors and other healthcare providers have to master through training and other sources. The same goes for our field as well. Currently we have just a pilot version we put together in the year 2025. There are 4 different special collections on 4 different themes. The first one is the business partnerships special collections, and as the name implies, it contains newsletters and handbooks and other kind of documents that were developed in the 1980s and 90s at a time when the business community was very actively involved in providing in-kind and financial assistance to local programs, for example. Businesses were also very involved as advocates, trying to generate public support and public awareness around the adult literacy issue. And thirdly, businesses also played important roles in educating their own workforces through what we were calling at that time workplace literacy programs. The second is titled Policy for Adult Foundational Education. And again, as that term implies, it has a lot of policy-related documents that were developed in the 1980s and 90s and early 2000s. They were aimed at federal policymakers, state policymakers, spelling out arguments for why investment in adult education is important and where that funding can be targeted through special demonstration projects and support for the development of good programs. The third is called workplace learning. And by that name, it's really, we're talking about workplace basic skills or workplace literacy programs, again, that were very highly popular really in our field as a major focus of our field in the late 80s and early 90s. Especially under federal funding from the National Workplace Literacy Program, and several states stepped up and also developed their own state initiatives for workplace literacy. So we've captured a lot of documents that came out of those policy reports, research evaluations, curricula, assessment tools, and models that particular industries developed for particular types of jobs and particular workforces. Labor unions and employers were also very involved in those kinds of initiatives. And finally, the fourth of the collections we've developed so far is titled Learners, Educators, and Communities as Problem Solvers. And by that, really, it's a compendium of 100-some resources, again, research, documents, curricula, assessment tools, project models, samples of learner-generated writing, materials related to learner leadership. Basically, this is a compendium of resources related to participatory adult literacy education. So those are the 4 collections we put together so far. In terms of how you can access it, a quick way of doing it is just to go to the website, the COABE website, or you can actually just Google the term COABE Archive of Special Collections, and you'll be taken to that site, on that location on the COABE website. And then when you get access, you can get access to it at that point, and you can just peruse these various collections, scroll through them, pick the ones that you think might be interesting. They're really organized sort of as a guidebook. Each of them is sort of written out as a guide, a book. There's a table of contents. There's an introductory section that explains what the purpose and content is in the thing. And you can go into the various sections and pick out. Each of the items has an annotated description of what that particular report or curriculum or whatever resource you're looking at. And you'll be able to click on a link and be brought to the actual PDF version that you can read. It's free, you can download it, etc. Thank you for your attention.